It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. Love and tradition of the grand design, some people say, is even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls. 'Cause all I see is a tower of dreams, real love bursting out of every scene. We're gonna fill our house with happiness, but we'll smother the blues with tenderness. There's room for you, room for me, for gentle hearts and opportunity. It's the bigger love of the family.
Hey, Jimmy here. It's time to dive into the conversation about transportation. Transportation can be the make or break for college students. The types of transportation that gets us around are cars, shuttles, bikes, skateboards, wheelchairs, and our own 2 feet. We're here to look into how college students get around. Transportation can be affected by social class. All college students come from different backgrounds, and those all factor into how we get around. Some of us would be considered high class, and some would be a part of the low class. It's more likely that a person who comes from a high social class will have a car more than someone who's from a low social class. We're going to explore how transportation for college students are related to social class.
I chose to focus on the students' perspective on the bus system here at FGCU, so I conducted a survey that was similar to the one done for the Madera County State Center Community College in California so that I could compare the results. In Madera County, the average household income is only $45,742 a year. In Lee County, that number goes up to $52,909 a year. This difference shows in the quality of their bus systems because FGCU has more buses and they run more frequently, creating happier students. As you can see, the bus was the most popular method to get to class, as 51.9% of people said they usually use it. The second most common was walking at 28.6%, but other methods such as driving, biking, skating, and pogo sticking were also mentioned. When FGCU students were asked how often they take the bus to class, almost 60% of people said that they often or always use the bus. Only 9% said that they never use the bus, which is pretty close to consistent with the 8% that said that they drive. That means that 91% of students at FGCU have ridden the bus at one time or another. FGCU students get a lot more use out of the bus system than the students at the Madera County Community College. And although that the students seem to take advantage of the bus pretty well, here at FGCU, we always strive to be better, so let's see how we can accomplish that. Here are some troubles that students have with the bus system, the biggest being the timing of the buses and the fact that the bus is just so busy and popular that it is overcrowded. 5% say that they have cars and would rather drive to class, but that number is pretty low compared to the estimated 45% of students that have cars here on campus. That estimation was given to me by my friends over at Parking Services. Madera students have problems with the timing and the walking distance to the bus stops, but one of their number one issues was the fact that a lot of people didn't even know they had a bus system, so they never took advantage of it. 74% of the students here told me that if these problems were fixed, that they would take the bus more often. The 12% that said no simply just want to get their exercise more, I guess. Madera students were a little bit more skeptical, coming in at 30% saying yes when asked if they would consider taking the transit more often if the issues were fixed. I also found that we got some lazy people here at FGCU because 68% said that they would only walk a quarter of a mile max to get to a bus stop. Madera students are much more willing to walk than the students here. The numbers were pretty evenly split between the three options, but most agreed that 1 mile was the farthest that they would walk. We are fortunate to have such a helpful and effective transit system here on campus. We are lucky to be able to see the friendly faces of the bus drivers every day picking us up to and from class. And that leaves just one last point. Fortnite knows it best.
I missed my class the other day because I don't have a car. And I got a low score because attendance counts.
What's wrong with getting cars?
My family can't afford to give me a car right now.
Social classified is like a bad place. You came from?
My dad hasn't paid his car yet. His dad his car got expensive. You can't pay for a new car when you're trying to fix a car and you have to pay for it.
Sorry to hear. Have a good one.
Wow, Jimmy's friend could have saved herself a lot of trouble if she had taken advantage of the shuttle system at FGCU. But universities and colleges are not the only ones who provide public transportation. Most, if not all, counties have some sort of public transit, ranging from buses to subways to trains. I'd like to know if you have ever ridden on a Lee-Tran bus or a trolley. If so, then how was it different than FGCU shuttles? If you haven't, then would you ever want to ride Lee-Tran? According to the Lee-Tran website, Lee County's Lee-Tran system contains 50 buses, 10 trolleys, and 42 paratransit vehicles for those with disabilities. The fares are $1.50 for regular pricing. Seniors, full-time students, and those with disabilities are offered a discount. Instead of paying $1.50, they would pay 75 cents, making Lee-Tran buses more accessible to those who are more prone to financial difficulties. Children under 42 inches are especially lucky. They ride free. Buses have 24 routes that span all of Lee County, but let's focus more on our community. Here is a map of Route 60 for FGCU. I found that there are 20 miles of route and 6 stops for passengers to get off or on at. Buses run Monday through Saturday, so students can go places on most days. According to Lee County, they make 4 million passenger trips annually, and in 2015, 34,789 passenger trips were made on Route 60. The route from Merton's Paradise to Bell Tower has the most, at 1,034,799 trips. Here we can see that Estero/San Carlos Park area has a lower poverty rate than Fort Myers, which has clustered poverty levels in the center. The Journal of Urban Economics theorized that public buses are used more by lower-income people because in the past, rich people moved out of the big city and fled to the outskirts and suburbs. They did this because they could afford to commute long distances using other methods. This is just an example of how social class affects your use of public transportation.